Well, hello, boys and girls. I almost forgot how to say boys and girls. I almost said goys and burls. Goys and burls. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. But you already know that, because everybody knows that. I'm the fairest in the land. Right? Right. So, last night there was a bit of a blip. I went 0 for 2. But I also said it was best not to bet on those games, especially the Toronto game. I wasn't sure who was going to win between. I said it was going to be 3-2, and it was probably going to go to a shootout, although it didn't. St. Louis did win. Probably should have took St. Louis there because Toronto had played a lot of games, but they're just such a powerhouse. But now let's get into the fine pearls and picks today, shall we? Oh, and again, people always writing me about the bathroom stuff. My previous video explains it, but if you would like me to get out of this bathroom, hit the subscribe and the bell, make me a YouTube sensation, and we can both be happy and joyful, which then have much frolic. Don't forget the frolic. Always be frolicking, boys and girls. That's my advice. Okay, Canes versus Panthers. Do not bet this game. I have no idea. Canes are on the road against a very strong Panthers team. I love both of these teams. I'm picking both of them to make the playoffs. I may go with Panthers at home. They're coming off a high of beating Tampa Bay. But like I said, I would never count out this Canes team. At the I can't even say whether this is going to be over or under, honestly. I would just stay away from this game completely. I'm going to take the Panthers 4-3, but I wouldn't bet it. Oilers versus the Islanders. The Oilers' defense is just brutal. And the Islanders play an extremely defensive game. The question will be whether they can stop Draisaitl and McDavid, and I do believe that they will be able to. Varlamov is going to be in net. Varlamov has struggled for the last couple of years, but as soon as he goes on a team with Trotz on it, he's going to become a Vezina possibility, guaranteed. I'm taking the Islanders. I'm saying 4-2. Jets versus the Pens. The Jets, Kulikov is getting some time off for personal reasons, and their defense is already shit. They brought up Niku, who I don't even know why he was in the minors actually with their defense like that. Maybe he had a bad camp. But that defense just looks pathetic. And I know Malkin is gone from the Pens, but I still think the Pens win this, and probably convincingly, 6-2. Hellebuyck is going to be in net, and I think he was benched because of his reaction to how the defense played. Now, this was not brought up, but I have a feeling that's what happened. They played their other goaltender there, his name has escaped me, 2 games in a row, and now they're putting him in, and I don't know. Hellebuyck's great, but with that defense, they're just not going to win too many games until they do something about it. Stars versus the Caps. The Stars, I said I was not a huge Stars supporter this year, and I know they brought in Pavelski. I didn't like the Perry signing. He's just been on constant decline. And it was going to take some time to adjust anyways. They had a tough road trip. They're back at home, and now they play the Caps on the road. I think the Caps are going to beat them. I think the Caps I think they're going to go 0-4, unfortunately. I'm taking the Caps, and probably 3-2, something like that. Ducks versus the Wings. Now, here, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Wings, and I mentioned before, the last game it was the only one I got wrong on Saturday night, I believe, was the Wings winning. And what I said was Yzerman isn't caring if they win this year or not. The team knows it, and they're definitely going to miss the playoffs. Now, if you wanted more proof of that, you have Nielsen, Daly, and Erickson all of a sudden on the injured reserve list. Okay? Could be a coincidence, but not likely. I think you're gonna see this with Detroit all year. If forwards are going to be injured a lot, veteran forwards, they're gonna play their younger players. They're gonna find out what they have. Stevie's gonna find out what he has, and then he's gonna probably move on if he can from the Nielsens and the Dalys and the Ericksons if they can find somebody to take those contracts. He's not screwing around like Holland kind of seemed like he was. This is a rebuild. He's going to do it as a rebuild, and that's it. So, what does that mean for tonight? Well, the Ducks are up the middle, are in bad shape. I would not bet this game. With Gibson and net, though, I just have a feeling with Gibson and net and such youth, even though Detroit's at home, I think Anaheim will win like 1-0. That doesn't happen too often, does it? I would definitely take the under on this. Sharks and Preds. I didn't like the Sharks before. Everybody knows that. You all know, because who doesn't, right? Like, everybody knows who I am. I didn't like the Sharks this year. I didn't like the leaving, with Pavelski leaving. Not because I didn't think this should happen, it should, but they should be rebuilding here, the Sharks. They're trying to rebuild on the fly, and they just don't have the talent to do it. They don't have the young players. They have Meyer, they have a few young players that are decent, but not good enough to do a real rebuild that they need to do. I'd be trading Couture. Why are we signing Carlson? I have no idea. I have actually loved everything that Wilson's done up until this point, but it appears rebuild is not one of his strengths. Or there's an ownership saying we don't want to rebuild, so he's going to put as good a defenseman he can there and cross his fingers. That's basically what I'm seeing. Anyways, I don't like their team. And they're playing against the Preds at home, who's putting Rene in net tonight. I see the Preds winning this, probably like convincingly, like 4-1. And then we have the Bruins and the Golden Knights. Again, I would not bet on this game. I would not. Boston's healthy. The only thing is Boston's on a long road trip. They could be tired. Yeah, you know what? I will bet on this game. I'm going to say the Golden Knights because Fleury's going to be in net. What I've watched of the Golden Knights, they are playing insanely intense. Gallant is the finest in the land. As far as I'm concerned, he should get Coach of the Year every year. Between him and Josh, they should get Coach of the Year every year. So I'm going to take the Knights here. I'm going to take the Knights, and I'm going to say like 3-2. Well, that's my full 42%, boys and girls. That's all I have to give. Hope you win with these picks, and write down in the comment section anything that you need to say. Get off your chest. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Lots of love to ya. There.